We'll now call the Caroline County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. And I'd like to recognize board members present this evening. We have Mr. Bobby Popovich, representing the Port Royal District. We have Mr. Wayne Akers, representing the Madison District. We have Mr. Jeff Seeley, representing the Bowling Green District. We have Mr. Floyd Thomas, representing the Mattaponi District. And I'm Maxie Roselle, and I represent the Reedy Church District. And at this time, I would like to ask Mr. Popovich if he would open with invocation, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance this evening on all things and all matters for us in the county. We also ask that during these hard economic times, you be with those who need you most. We also ask that you be with our troops in Afghanistan and Iraq and keep them safe and protected. All these things we ask and pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand and join us to the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tear that thing up.
Okay, and this time we'll now look at the amendments to the agenda. We do have a couple. We have one to remove the item number 5A from the minutes, and then we have to add consent agenda item 5G. Also, consent agenda item 5H and consent agenda item 5I. And a motion would be in order.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and properly second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. All right, the amendments to the agenda carried. At this time, I would like to ask board members if they have opening comments. Mr. Popovich,
I have none, Mr. Roselle.
Mr. Akers,
No, sir.
Mr. Seeley.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, just one comment for all those that didn't realize that the county fair has been trying to get a ribbon, not ribbon cutting, but a recognition of those sponsors for the new buildings at the fairground, and that's going to be tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. But they've had, date conflicts with everybody to do that. But tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, they're going to actually do that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Seeley. Mr. Thomas?
None to say. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for waiting for me. I just drove 200 miles in 3 hours, so I appreciate it.
You're close.
Can we do the math? Can we do the math?
And I got caught in traffic in Richmond.
Oh, okay. All right. And I have none. And we do have a couple of recognitions tonight, if it's okay with the board. As Mr. Seeley said, a lot of members of the fair committees here, and I'd like to recognize them as well. So maybe we'll move their resolution from the consent agenda to presentations. Board members agree?
So moved.
Right. Motion made and probably second. Then we move the fair presentation to the presentation section. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. All right. Now I would like to ask Max Sapphire if he would come forward. It's not often that we get to congratulate somebody in their retirement, and especially somebody like Mac, who has done so much for Caroline County over the years. Come on around, Mac, to the very front. And we do appreciate these times, so we can recognize those who have done so much for us over the years. And we're here to wish him well today. Okay, Mac, this is our resolution for you, commending Mac Sapphire for his outstanding service to the people of Caroline County upon the occasion of his retirement from the Virginia Cooperative Extension. Whereas Mac will retire on June 30th, 2010, nearly 21 years of service with Caroline County Office of Virginia Cooperative Extension. And whereas during his career, Mac achieved a number of awards and distinctions, including recognition for his outstanding work in protecting the Rappahannock River watershed and improving water quality through homeowners' best management practices. And whereas in 2008, he became the first ever extension agent to be appointed to the Rappahannock River Basin Commission, which I served with you for a couple of years. All right, whereas Mr. Sapphire has been a friend of Caroline County and always strive to provide the best service possible to the citizens, and whereas his dedication and expertise will be difficult to replace, and he will be missed by his fellow public servants and the citizens of Caroline County. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Caroline County Board of Supervisors hereby commends and thanks Mac Sapphire for his outstanding service to the citizens of Caroline County and conveys its best wishes for a happy retirement and continued success in all future endeavors. Adopted the 8th day of June, 2010, Clerk of the Board, Percy Ashcraft, and Chairman, D.M. Roselle, Jr.
Thank you very much. I'm going to say something very briefly. I just want to say that rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated, and as Samuel Clemens said, and that I will continue to serve Caroline County and protect the waters and soils of the area as best I can. I'm not going to leave and go to Alaska or anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, hold on. You guys come in here. Yeah, we're going to do this now. Well,
You guys want to do a group?
we're going to do a group.
Group hug. Boy, yeah, Jeff, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Wayne, I'm still going to be around. I might even run for the Board of Supervisors.
All right. After a couple of years, you can run from it. He's going to have to stand on the podium on the other side.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Try. Thank you.
Oh, next, we're gonna do the fair next?
Yeah. Our Fair Committee members, come on up with us, please.
All right, share. Okay, for the board members, we've got a resolution declaring July 14th through July 17th, 2010 as Caroline County Agricultural Week. And as you know, our next meeting, I think, is on the 13th, so we wanted to make sure you had this in plenty of time. And it states, whereas the 2010 Caroline County Agricultural Fair will be held July 14th through 17th, 2010 at the fairgrounds on County Fair Lane, adjacent to the Virginia Sports Park. And whereas each year since its rebirth in 1997, the fair has continued to get bigger and better and now attracts fairgoers from not only Caroline County, but the surrounding region as well. And whereas 2010 promises to be the best fair yet with brand new pavilions and the launching of the Building the Barn campaign, in addition to all other fun-filled family attractions, live entertainment, and activities. And whereas the County Agricultural Fair has become an integral part of the social and community fabric of the county and an important tourism-related event for Caroline, whereas the Board of Supervisors wishes to show its appreciation and support for the fair and its hard-working organizers and sponsors. Now therefore be it resolved that the Caroline County Board of Supervisors hereby declares July 14th through the 17th, 2010 as Caroline County Agricultural Fair Week and urges county residents to support this wonderful homegrown event. Adopted this 8th day of June 2010 and signed by Mr. Ashcraft as the clerk, Mr. Roselle as the chairman. So since the fair location is actually in the Mattapanai district, I appreciate it. It's my honor to give you that plaque and say congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. And we would like to take this opportunity to thank you and all the other members of the Board of Supervisors for your continued support at the fair, as well as all other county officials who assist us every year. And yes, we hope this year is going to be even bigger and better, and we are excited. We are having some building going on over there, and hope everyone will come out for that. And we're just very excited and just can't thank you all enough for helping us. Thank you.
Okay, ladies
We're gonna
and
go in the
gentlemen,
corner.
what we're going to do here, we're going to bring it around. We need some in the front, some in the back, taller ones in the back, of course. Okay, if you bring it around there. Okay, don't. Okay, I'll tell you what, that looks really good, but if we can bring it around to my right just a little bit more, same places, a little more, yeah, Mr. Thomas, you don't have to pace yourself up against the wall. You can step back.
Oh, it's part of the fabric of the curtains.
Okay, the gentleman that's just in back of Jeff Sealer's up to an inch to my right. Good. All right. That's great. All right. Need a nice smile right here. I'm going to take a couple just to kind of keep the points on everybody. All right. That's great. Nice smile right here. Good. Thank you.
Congratulations, everybody.
Thank you. Congratulations, you guys. Thanks. Thanks so much for what you guys do. Okay, I'll take a hug. Thank you. All right, again. Hey, thank you, sir. Thank you for all you. Thank you. What's Armando's last name? Flores. I worked with Armando Calientes, and I keep saying that. It's like it's brain lock.
See, Davis. Okay, at this time, we'll move the agenda on. Next, we have the report from VDOT monthly report, and that will be maintenance manager David Stanley. Good evening, Mr. Stanley. Welcome to Caroline.
Mr. Chairman, member of the board, thank you for having me this evening. I know y'all have been briefed on all the changes that have gone on within our organization, and they're still going on. I've been in this capacity for about 6 weeks now, so a lot to learn in Caroline County. And even though we're in a lot of trying times, there's a lot of exciting things currently going on. So I do want to start off with just a brief introduction. I have a very brief report to go through several items, and then address any concerns that you have at this time and any open discussion. Again, my name is David Stanley. I serve 2 other counties, Spotsylvania County and Stafford County. Also, I currently have some alternate special assignments where I'm in an acting position as a liaison to local governments. And also, I'm currently active in 4 major projects in the Fredericksburg district as a project manager. So my plate is fairly full and wear a lot of hats. But as far as our brief report, I did want to comment on several items that may be of interest to you. I did want to comment that funding has been secured to finish the trench widening on Route 30 between Route 301 and 652. I currently expect an early spring start on that project. The Route 207 project, which is currently underway, is about 20% ahead of schedule. I'm not sure exactly what that means because it will go through this winter. So hopefully we won't have a repeat of last year and this project can finish well ahead of schedule. Mowing, which is, I'm sure you get a lot of complaints, same as I do in our other jurisdictions. Understand in 14 counties in this district and in most counties in the state, a lot of areas haven't even started mowing. Our mowing will start June 14th, which is this coming Monday. We will start on our primary routes and move to our secondary routes. So over a 6 to 8 week period, we should have everything mowed. Hopefully most of those complaints that we've all been receiving will go away. And then we have one other mowing scheduled for the fall, which we'll try to catch that earlier on. So just keep that in mind. Also, there was a lot of tree damage from the winter. I know we get a lot of complaints on tree removal. We've actually made some efforts to do some additional contracting out of some of the tree service, and we expect that work to continue through probably about midsummer. Most of the trees are definitely off the pavement, but we still have some areas that are still on the shoulders and still within the right-of-way. So a few places it's, you definitely wouldn't want to run off the road. It could be dangerous. So we're continuing to work on that to hopefully have all that addressed by midsummer. Asphalt spot patching, we're doing a fair amount of that this year. We have our paving schedules, which I'm usually like to see those earlier on, but looks like our paving schedule contractor will move into this area in July, and our surface treatment schedule contract will move in this area in August. So we have about 4 to 6 weeks to make sure the roads are prepped ahead of that work. I know from the last time, I guess when Mr. Stunk was here, I did want to report that the rest areas have been reopened. Also, I did want to comment about the actual level of funding for our maintenance program. Our fiscal year actually closes out this June 17th, so things are pretty busy and for year-end closings. But it looks like I've just about finished our budgets for this coming year, and we have been able to maintain our level funding on our maintenance program from last year. So hopefully no further decreases in that program will be on the horizon. We're also coordinating with the annual Boy Scout Jamboree for traffic control and the use of our facility, so we're actively engaged in that. Hopefully that will be, again, a successful event without incidents. Wanted to comment, this is something very recent as of yesterday. I'm currently engaged with several VDOT officials as well as Fort AP Hill officials. We have a sub-area that assists in serving this county, in addition to our Farmers area headquarters and Ladysmith area headquarters, and that we refer to that as our Port Royal sub-area. We're currently engaged with the base, trying to make an effort to get them to renew our lease. We would very much like to continue to keep that facility. It's strategic for us, especially during emergency operations. Currently, there is some resistance from the base to renew our lease. So I do want to just request that we get your support. That is, like I said, it's not a fully manned area headquarters, but we do use that, as you know, during snow removal operations, as well as any hurricanes that come through. We stage equipment, materials at that location, and any support that we can get from you, I'm sure would be very beneficial. So I just want to ask for your support from the base to extend our lease at that location. Also, I'd want to end in closing before I open up the floor to any comments. You know, we've gone to the call center. General public has been using the 1-800-367 road number, working out a lot of kinks with that. So far, everyone that has called that number has received a response, and we'll continue to do that. But in serving your needs, I know your phone is probably very similar to mine. It seems to ring around the clock. I want to make sure, and I will communicate that through the county staff, that you have my numbers as well, so if you need to get a hold of me over any issues that come up, I will be available. So I'll give you my mobile home and office. As you know, our area headquarters numbers are no longer published, and those facilities are no longer open to the public. So we want to maintain existing communications as we've had in the past between you and our superintendents, and as well as Mr. Rodney Newton, who you've worked with in the past, and of course myself. So with that, I'd just like to open the floor to any comments or questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Stanley. Mr. Popowich, you have questions of Mr. Stanley?
I have none.
Mr. Akers? Yes, sir. Mr. Seeley?
Yeah, can you tell me a little more precisely which site? Is it the site on 17?
It's a site just on this side of the bridge.
Just on
Yes,
this?
301.
So it's not on 17, it's on...
Before you go into King George. I'll get the information and
Would you
and send you.
please?
And that way you have a little more information as well concerning our lease.
Because we do need to assist you in that. And Mr. Ashcraft, can you get that? And if you can get that to our county administrator, I'd appreciate
Will do.
that. And see if we can't help you in your endeavors in that, because I think VDOT needs all the help they can get at this point in time.
Yes, sir.
And
Absolutely.
I believe you guys were in Milford, I don't know, a week or two ago to clean some ditches.
Okay.
And so far, it all seems really good. So I guess one big rain and we'll know if we've solved the problem. But thanks for doing that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Vice Chairman?
Mr. Stanley, I'm not sure you can help, but I sure hope you can. Just north of here on 301, there is a Chevron station on the left as you're going north on 301. There is a cutout in the middle of the road that doesn't quite reach the entry of that gas station. And more than once, I've seen cars actually going the wrong way on 301 to make that left turn and then get into the gas station.
Okay.
So I don't know if we could extend the cutout some, which might make it a little bit safer for all of us. So if you could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, in the, there's one question I have. What's the status of the Don sub-area?
I'm sorry.
The Don sub-area location? Is that still being used at all?
No, sir. No, sir.
So I guess it's being maintained and as far as you know?
As far as I know.
The property and everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, and then for the Port Royal area, Mr. Popowitz, I don't know if you want to ask for a resolution for that?
Yeah, let's do that the next meeting, though, please.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
All right, but I,
Staff
look,
time,
it
put that
sounds
together.
like it's the right thing for us to do, so.
Yes.
Okay. And that's all the questions that we have. Thank you so much for being here.
Great. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, next we move on to the reports from area liaisons. And I have my report here somewhere. Put my hands on it. I don't know where I hid it. That's not it. Okay, is somebody else better prepared than I am, Mr. Vice Chairman? Communications and Technology, Public Works.
I don't know if I'll take better prepared, but the Technology Committee is going to meet on Thursday, June 10th at 7 o'clock at the Visitor Center to hear a presentation from an area or from a business who would like to bring high-speed internet fiber basically to the Carmel Church, Ladysmith area. So we will be able to give you a much more detailed report on the success of that meeting once it takes place. I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And next we have Finance, Recreation, Planning. Mr. Akers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As to the finance group, Mrs. Hatcher has been working to amend the fiscal year 2010 budget so that no fund is overexpended and to account for all the state actions that we've had to work with. She's also working on bids for joint purchasing of products for the county as well as the schools. She's also working on a purchase card program to go to bid. And of course, with the reductions in staff the county had to endure, she certainly has been working with the treasurer and the county administration and the commissioner of revenue to address the changes in the workflow with the absence of a receptionist, and certainly working to reconcile the books for the audit, which will be taking place soon. As to the planning, the route, as you heard tonight, the Route 207 and 652 relocation project is still about 20% ahead of schedule. Also, per the board's approval at the last meeting, staff has completed the revenue sharing request for turn lanes off of Route 1 into the Campbell's Creek subdivision. And staff is working with the VDOT on traditional neighborhood development street standards in support of their approval of T&Ds in the county. Also, the county staff has finalized the planning assistance grant for $50,000 from the Virginia Department of Transportation to assist with the analysis and designation of one of the more urban development areas as required by the Code of Virginia. Also, the staff has been working with the Virginia Department of Rail and Public Transportation and the Fredericksburg Area Metropolitan Planning Organization and counties and finalizing the scope of work for the environmental impact study that's going to be needed for the rail station that would be associated with Carmel Church station development. As far as recreation is concerned, the Recreation Committee met recently. The attendance was not as good as we had hoped for. I believe that maybe some of us need to be talking to our appointees to make them more aware of the need to attend these committee meetings, because they are important, because they do plan for the young people and activities for the young people of Caroline. A couple of key things I think we need to look at is the fact that summer exploration day camp, a program which is being offered in the Dawn, Bowling Green, and Ladysmith areas, have yet to generate the interest that first anticipated. Currently, there are 27 participants enrolled in the program, and the majority of those residents are housed in the Ladysmith site. And I believe those are the main areas that we need to be concerned about as far as the recreation is concerned. One thing I will say is the Bicycle for Safe Communities was held in Caroline Pines back about a month ago, and we appreciate Caroline Pines supporting, and certainly the Sheriff's Department and Mr. Roselle, you were there, I understand, and it was a successful event, so we're pleased with that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Akers. Mr. Popovich.
Yes, sir. Public utilities, we're still working on an interim water action plan, which consists of our well system that at some future point would be a interim supply rather than main supply. Days in well facility, we've submitted to VDH. The Econo well, we're anticipating a permit from the 100 gallons per minute, and the VSE well number 2, the 35 gallon per minute is anticipated on that. Our water supply plan, section 1 is moving forward, and we've completed up to May of 2009 completion stuff, but then we have work on the plan. It's still up to date. We're still moving forward with that, and hopefully I'll have something for you soon. As of June 4th, we had 69 water and sewer connections. So let you know that this year. Under economic development, obviously tourism is preparing for the National Boy Scout Jamboree. And being directly involved in that, I'm kind of excited that that's coming here again to Caroline. Also under economic development will be hosting in August a business education class to be taught by Germana. It's legal business fundamentals. And we're providing this as a service to our business community, and we'll have specific dates in the future for that class. And finally, I know Gary's been working pretty hard on recruitment efforts. We've picked up a couple of things. One possibility is a company that does solar panels. It's an American company, so that's where we're headed at the moment. So, and that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Popovich. Mr. Seeley with Town of Bowling Green.
Mr. Chairman, my report is short. I want to say that this coming Saturday, June the 12th, is Clean Sweep. The town has been sprucing up itself, cleaning up, sweeping up the streets, and for those that don't know, it is one huge yard sale that's advertised for the whole town. You get a map and go place to place to place. It's usually a very big hit. We're looking forward to that. And as most of you have seen in our board packet, Fort AP Hill is looking at an Army Reserve Center at AP Hill, and I believe we passed a resolution on that back in the February timeframe. Is that true? I'd just like us to get that back out again. I think it was February or January we had a resolution in support of that, and they must not be aware of it. They're actually, touching base with us about it, and I think we need to forward that on.
All right, we'll make sure we'll pull that out.
And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you. And as far as public safety, I do have been in contact regularly with the sheriff. He gives us pretty good reports in our weekly paper. I think most folks see what's going on with that department. And also, we'll have another meeting with the school board chairs and the administrator and the superintendent again in the near future. Also, for fire and rescue, our department continues to work this year on, and we do this every 10 years, we evaluate our insurance services office, our ISO evaluation. We're in the process of doing that. Also, the department has applied for a firefighter's grant in the sum of about $311,000. The department is actively planning for our upcoming North Anna nuclear power drills. We're also working on the wildfire scenarios to be practiced with our group. Also, our department completed a 16-hour basic pump with 15 personnel. As far as public education and recruitment, our fire and EMS folks have had a health and wellness fair in Dawn, and they participated in the Bicycle Safe Communities event, and also they participated in the Lady Smith Day celebration. And we had 187 fire calls and 374 EMS calls just in May. So a lot of activities going on in public safety as well. Okay, now that we've been through all those, any questions on any liaison positions? All right, we'll move on to appointments. We have for the Board of Zoning Appeals from Port Royal District.
I don't have an appointment at this time, but I have somebody in mind for that, and I need to confirm their participation. All right, use some time to work on that. Also, we have the Board of Equalization from each area. Any board members ready to submit names this evening?
Mr. Roselle, I am prepared to, again, ask for the reappointment of Beverly McDearman. She served in 2006 and is willing to serve again.
Are there others?
Second.
Any others?
I put him on last meeting.
Okay.
So, okay.
Right, and I'm talking to one who's going to talk to Ms. Carter to see what she's getting into. But we'll see.
The only question I got was, when will be their first meeting? Any idea when that will be? So we're looking November, December? Okay, that's great.
They have a little while, but we do need to get the names in. Okay. Okay, your motion's been made, properly second by Mr. Akers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. Motion carries, and Bev McDermott is the newest member of the Board of Equalization. All right, item number 5, consent agenda items.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like
Okay, go ahead.
to actually pull item 5G.
All right, Mr. Akers, you withdraw your motion?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Seeley would like to pull.
What we have is
What?
5G.
All right, that's on the addendum.
Where it's coming.
Okay, we'll pull that. Now, Mr. Akers, you want to continue with your motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would, yes, make a motion that we approve consent agenda A through F, H, and I.
Okay, motion
Second.
on the floor, it's probably second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same. All right, motion carries. Mr. Seeley, you have a question?
Mr.
On item
Chairman,
5G?
in light of the resolution that's being presented, and in light of the, I guess, some of the language in the resolution that I don't agree with at this point in time, I wanted to pull that because I didn't believe that language was something that we were looking for to expressly have the attorney sort of give to us. So at this point, I personally do not agree with the resolution as presented, so I wanted the option of pulling that item.
Okay, do you have any specifics on the language
As soon as I pull
in question?
I just had this in front of me.
Well, we have our attorneys here, so,
No, I don't think you took it, because with my green sheet, so
Yes.
what was that?
I guess the question is, am I looking at the back or
Okay.
I have it.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, in
hold on
particular,
a minute. If it is anything that would change, attorney has recommended that if there's anything that substantive changes, that we would have to go into a closed meeting. If there's any substantive changes. Because there is pending litigations here.
Mr. Chairman, in fairness to all the board members, I think we should discuss this in closed session then.
Okay. All right, we'll do that at the end of our meeting. All right. Okay. Certainly, we'll take that up near the end of our meeting where we have closed meeting, which is at the end of the agenda. Okay, Mr. Ashcraft, what can we move up on the agenda this evening?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest items number 9 and 10.
Okay. We'll now take up item number 9. Basically, we have all received the amended fiscal year 2010 budget, and Mrs. Hatcher has produced the document before you that discusses all the changes, and by law, we do need to make this happen.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman Roselle, members of the board. As you just mentioned, there is a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2010 budget. Back in June 2009, the board adopted and appropriated the current year budget. In accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, no governmental, special, or capital projects fund should have expenditures which exceed your appropriations. This has been noted in our audit each year, and I figured this is a good year to start by correcting that little deficiency. Budgets occasionally need to be amended due to changing economies, receipt of grants, etc. And our revenues, the net increase to the revenues are due to the increase in the public service taxes, receipt of various grants, and reductions by the state. So it's a net. Several departments, such as the Commonwealth Attorney, Victim Witness, and Sheriff, received grants which require an increase to their budget. So to keep them from going over, we have to increase it. Several grant-related expenditures have been moved to a new fund due to restrictions on the grant funding. This is what's called the Fire Rescue Grant Fund. In the past, they've received these grants, but we have not been accounting for them like we should have by generally accepted standards. So we have moved those to a new fund, which means you have to amend the budget to create it. Several other departments have either increased due to the amount of overexpenditure or personnel changes. CSA, the Comprehensive Services Act, and the Law Library funds are overexpended, and which will require an increase in the transfer to those funds. We've incorporated the amount in this amended budget, that the latest amount we've gotten from Social Services for the CSA. The Industrial Development Fund is being eliminated. It's now a component unit. It was reported last year as a component unit of the county. Budget had already been adopted, so we're deleting the budget. In both the Proffers Fund and Program Income Fund never had an adopted budget. We've had expenditures, so we're amending it to cover the expenditures. The debt service is increased due to the way that we have to account for the payback of the Sparta loan station monies. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I know this is the first time you all have gone through this exercise, but...
Okay, questions of Mrs. Hatcher? Mr. Vice Chairman?
I do have one, if you would. Ladysmith Fire Department, it appears in talking with the chief that they're going to have about $48,000 to $49,000 left over in their fund this year. They have a contract to put a sealer on that driveway and to repair, do roof repairs on that building. Those two amounts equal about $31,000, and then their expenses are running about $4,500 a month, and we would still need to have June's expenses included in this $48,000. What I'm asking the board to do is to agree to amend the budget, whereas they will be able to use the monies that have been appropriated in this year's budget, move it over to next year's budget, because the actual work will not take place until after July 1. The contract has been signed in this year, but the people they have signed a contract with has indicated they cannot do the work until after July 1. Mrs. Hatcher said that the law requires us to pay in the year in which the work has been completed. So I'm asking that we move this $31,000 into next year's budget, which will be left over out of this year's budget. And they still will leave about $11,000, close to $12,000 in their fund, which they will not use this year. And that's in the form of a motion, Mr. Chairman, or part of this, this amended budget that we're talking about.
All right.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded that we allow the Ladysmith Fire Department to transfer the 48,000.
31,000 for the repairs, and they will still have this year's